Activists seek answers after the sixth officer-involved shooting in 5 weeks. The family of a Houston man killed by Minneapolis police is seeking justice, and we're saluting graduates. The story's coming up. Hi, I'm Rashonda Tate Billingsley with your weekly Defender News Wrap, where we bring you the biggest news stories from the Black community. As Houston sees its sixth officer-involved shooting in 5 weeks, some local activists are demanding transparency. The activists want body cam video of the shootings to be released. Police officials say they have a responsibility to the family, plus the added publicity from releasing body camera footage could impact an officer's trial if there's an indictment later on. However, activists say those killed in police shootings deserve a fair trial too, and accountability is imperative. The FBI could be investigating the death of George Floyd, a Houston man who was killed by Minneapolis police. Video shows a white Minneapolis police officer kneeling on Floyd's neck as he says, "I can't breathe." Derek Chauvin, the officer seen in the video, has been fired along with 3 other officers who stood by and watched. Floyd's family here in Houston said that he was murdered. The mayor of Minneapolis has called for criminal charges against the 4 officers involved in the death. Meanwhile, protests continue in the city. Rice University recently surveyed Harris County voters and found that nearly 70% of respondents preferred voting by mail if that's an option. The poll also found African Americans are far more nervous about voting in person, with just 17.7% of those surveyed saying they would do so even if social distancing protocols were in place. More than 41% of voters said they would vote in person. Among those voters, the majority were Democrats, many were women, and as a group were slightly more likely to be over 65. The man at the center of a viral video of a woman threatening to call the cops on him in New York's Central Park is asking people to stop harassing the woman in the video. Christian Cooper wants others to show the type of grace Amy Cooper didn't give him. As documented in the now famed viral video, the 41-year-old woman called police on the 57-year-old black bird watcher after he asked her to put a leash on her dog in an area where it's required. After the encounter went viral on social media, Amy Cooper apologized but lost her dog and her job. Christian Cooper said he didn't want to make the situation worse and said as offensive as the woman's actions were, people should remain civil. Texas A&M and Prairie View A&M universities are joining the Defender to give soon-to-be high school and college graduates a chance to shine with our Senior Spotlight. Visit DefenderNetwork.com to download the form and celebrate your graduate. This is a trying time as coronavirus cases top 100,000 and states reopen, and people lose their minds partying like this virus can't affect them. Check out this week's Defender, where we talk about that, as well as a poll from the NAACP on how African Americans are viewing the pandemic. You'll also want to check out the story from reporter Aswad Walker on the role religion is playing in how people are facing the coronavirus. And finally, congrats to former TSU president Dr. Austin A. Lane, who's been named chancellor at Southern Illinois University, the first African American to hold the position. It's a wrap. Make sure you're following us at Defender Network on Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter. And join us here next week for all your Defender highlights.